These are the properties generally, the most important properties which depends by which we'll selecting the sands. Okay, so they are the like strength, permeability, deformation, flowability, and the refractoriness. So these are the properties, important properties by which we are selecting the sand as the molding sand. We are selecting the molding sand. So, uh, as I have told you, what is the strength? In strength, there is a green strength and there is also a dry strength. Okay, what should be the why? What the strength on the strength will be depends on the strength of the sand. So it depends on the grain size and shape, moisture content in the sand, and the density of the sand after ramming processes. Ramming means by setting the sand in the frame, we are pushing it by a rammer or a wooden piece. That will be the sand will be pushed like that in the frame. So that process is called ramming. I will show you some videos that will be discussed in the lab classes. I will show you some videos. That's why we will understand what is the ramming process there. So, someone is disturbing. I can mark our name here. Okay. So, from next, who have not interested in this class, they can easily remove, or from the next class, I am not allowing him to the classes. So, be careful about that. I am not, in the next, you are not asking me to join you in my classes. Okay. So Govind Chandra, you will mute yourself and do all stop all the activities first. Then see. So we have discussed two things in strength. That is, one is the green strength, other is the dry strength. Green strength related to the removing of the pattern, that the position of the mold cavity that should not be disturbed. There should not be erosion in the walls, and that the cavity should not be disturbed or distorted. So in similarly, in dry strength means during the pouring of the hot metal in the molding sand, due to the temperature of the molten metals, the moistures in the sand will be evaporated. That means the strength, the sand will be dried. So dry sand, now the dry sand has the sufficient strength to withstand the molten metal in the cavity. That should be there no erosion, there is no distortion in the walls. These are the two strengths in the sand. So that we desire very much. So the next will be, we'll see the permeability. Okay. Just there is a connection issue again. So I'll stop my video here. Okay. Another thing I have to set here. Here all drawings. Okay. So see here. Permeability. Permeability means, what do you mean by the permeability? Permeability means porosity of the molding sand in order to allow the escape of any air, gases or moistures present or generated in the mold when the molten metal is poured in it. So permeability means a sand. So what is the permeability related to the sand? The permeability related to sand is that in the manner is that sand has the capacity of escaping any gas enveloped in the mold cavity. That has the capacity to escape all the gases enveloped in the mold cavity. That the presence of the gases, why we need the permeability? Because the presence of gases will create the casting defects. So minimize the casting defects, the sand should be good permeable. Permeability means it is have to permit to escape the any air, gases or moisture present or generated in the mold when the molten metal is poured in it. So permeability related to permission or permit. That is related to directly to the permitting. So permitting means what? Permitting. The permitting means the permitting to escape the absorbed gases during the pouring of the molten metal. So if the sand has the low permeability, that means that the castings will have create some casting defects. So that's why we are not using any sand. We are only using clay or the natural sand, the other sand is sand available to our surrounding. We are using the special sands for this permeability purposes. So all the gases generated during the pouring and solidification process must escape, otherwise the casting becomes defective. So to make the casting defective free, so permeability or permitting of the escaping of the gases developed during the pouring and solidification must be there. So permeability is a function of grain size. So how it depends on which permeability depends? No, permeability is a function of grain size, grain shape, and moisture and clay content in the molding sand. The grain size of the sand, shape of the sand, moisture content in the sand, clay contents in the sand, these are the things on which permeability depends. The extent of ramming of the sand directly affects the permeability. The extent of ramming. So also here saying that the permeability is also affected by the ramming processes. So ramming should be proper. The proper ramming should be there so that the permeability will be high. Permeability always will be high. Otherwise, there should be casting
Sir,
defect. Yes.
sir,
Uh,
sir, ramming बढ़िले permeability बढ़िବ ना कमिବ?
if ramming should be perfect. Okay, ramming should be perfect means it should not be that we should not distort the permeability of the sands. Ramming, if ramming is very high, that means there is the space, or we can say the evaporation process will be affected. The extent of ramming directly affects the permeability. The extent means it will not be high and it should not be low. The permeability
Yes, sir.
ramming is a process of ramming is a process, so it will be a optimized process that should not be high or that should not be low. Okay. So the next is the flowability or plasticity. Another metal property, another sand property is the flowability or the plasticity. So see here, flowability means the material ability to flow, the metal. Flowability or plasticity. It is the ability of the sand to get compacted and behaved like a fluid. Fluid has the flowability. Also, the sand has the flowability. The sand should have the good flowability. So, it will flow uniformly to all the portions of the pattern. When we are making a pattern, when we are making a sand cavity, sand mold, that means all the sands will flow uniformly to all the portions of pattern. That's why we can make the intricate shapes by the casting processes. If the flowability is low, that means we cannot make the intricate shapes perfectly. That means the sand have the good flowability that all the portions of the pattern when rammed and distribute the ramming pressure evenly all around or in all directions. So in ramming processes, what we'll do, now we're giving some pressure to the sand that the sand will be uniformly distributed to the all the portion of pattern. So that's why we can achieve the good, we can achieve the intricate shapes also. So generally, sand particles resist moving around corners or projections. So what happens here? Generally, sand has resist moving in around corners or the projections areas. projection areas or to the corners. In general, flowability increases with decrease in grain strength and decrease in grain size. So how to increase the flowability? So if a sand has the moisture content, high moisture content, it will flow less or high? It will flow less. If the sand is wetted, then it will flow less. If the sand is dry, then it will flow high. So the moisture content is directly affects the flowability of the material. And again the grain size. If the grain size is very low, then it has very low flowability. If the grain size is very
Very
low,
high, sir.
if the grain size is very low, then it is very low flowability. So grain size will be very adequate to flow to the corners or the around the projection areas. Okay, so the flowability also varies with the moisture and the clay content also. The clay content means the binders. So if you are adding more binders, that means the flowability of the sand will be affected. If you add extra moisture, extra water to the sand, then the flowability of the sand will also affected. These are the to maintain a good flowability is also essential to for the production of the manufacturing of the intricate shapes, corners or the projection areas. So these are the two properties here. Then another property is refractoriness. Sorry, refractoriness. Refractoriness. So refractoriness is depends on the ability of molding sand to withstand high temperature. So refractoriness is directly related to temperature withstand. So when the questions of properties of sand will be asked, so you don't go through the all the definitions or what are discussed in what is written in this slide. So you have to understand what is the first. You have to understand what is the meaning of these terms. After that, you can write or you can say. So refractoriness is directly related to the temperature withstand. So what is the temperature withstand here? As we are talking about the castings, that means the sand have to resist the molten metal. A material, the some materials, if you are talking about the iron has a 1538 degree centigrade melting temperature. So that means the sand has the sufficient refractoriness to resist that high temperature. We are making sand molds now. We are making molds. That means the metal has the sufficient capacity or the refractoriness to withstand that temperature. That will be refractoriness, ability of the molding sand to withstand high temperatures without breaking down or fusing. This facilitating to get sound castings without breaking or fusing. So, sands have poor refractoriness cannot be selected. Burn on the casting surface cannot be selected. No smooth casting surface can be obtained. So degree of refractoriness depends on presence of SiO2 oxide, silicon oxide, SiO2. I the quartz content that is called as the quartz content. If you see the sand that is for the used for the purpose of the construction works, if you see there is some the presence of the SiO2 oxide silica that is called as silica SiO2. That quartz content will defines the refractoriness of the sands and the shape and grain size of the particle also. The refractoriness will depends on the silica content or the quartz content, shape and size of the grain particles, shape and size of the sand particles. So these three things will decide the refractoriness of the sand. So that's why we are not using the normal sand available to our home surroundings. That's why we are using the river sands. That's why we are using the river sands also. River sands because river sand has the quartz content or the silica content. There are particular shape and size, grain size of the sands. That's why we are using refractoriness, and that's why we are using in mold castings. So higher the silica content, higher is the refractoriness of the molding. If the silica content increases, then the refractoriness capacity of the sand will also increases. The refractoriness is measured by the center point of the sand rather than melting point. We are not refractoriness is measured by center point, not the melting point, not by the melting point. That means how it will be melted. No, that's not the measure of the refractoriness. It will be measured by the center point. So then another property is here, that is called the
Center point.
collapsibility. Collapsibility, just a
Sir,
minute.
what is center point?
Just a minute. So collapsibility means after the molten metal collapsibility. That means when we are pouring, some example you can do some example also yourself by preparing a
Sir,
mold of sand. If you are pouring, if you are pouring the liquid, some liquid liquid state matters into that cavity, then that cavity should have the ability. That cavity should have the ability to withstand that load, or the withstand that the flowability of the of that matter. So after the molten matter in the molds get solidified, the sand mold must be collapsible so that free contraction of the metal occurs, and that this could naturally avoid the tearing and cracking of the contracting metal. Okay. So collapsibility means that casting will easily collapsible after the solidification process. That is related to after the solidification process. So collapsibility is related to the after solidification process. Why it is important for the after solidification process? Because after solidification process, we are need to remove the solid metal from that. So the solid metal can be removed when the easily when we easily break the sand mold. That defines the collapsibility. If that sand mold cannot be easily collapsible, that cannot easily break down, so there may be the chance of during defects in the casting during the removal or cleaning process of the sands. So that should be easily collapsible. In absence of this property, the contraction of the metal hindered by the mold and thus results in tears and cracks in the casting. If that the collapsibility will be affected, the collapsibility of the sand will be affected, then there will be tears and cracks in the castings. So this property is highly desired in course. So this is in course. So what is that core? We are already discussed. The collapsibility is highly desired in cores because cores are used in for the formation of hollow shapes normally. That means the interior surface will be easily collapsible. Interior cores or interior sand molds can be easily collapsible. So if there is difficulty, then the tears and cracks will be formed. That is the refractoriness and the collapsibility. Then there is another property, that is cohesiveness. So cohesiveness, as all of you know what is the cohesiveness, and there is also the another property that is called adhesiveness. I think all of you are aware about the cohesiveness and the adhesiveness. So cohesiveness is the property by which the sand grain particles interact and attract each other within the molding sand. That is the attraction between the grains of the molding sand. That is cohesiveness. So cohesiveness is essential because cohesiveness will increases the binding capacity. If there is low cohesiveness, that means that sands cannot be easily binded. The binding capability of the molding sand gets enhanced to increase the green, dry, and hot strength property of molding sand and coarse sand. So it is essential for the green sand, dry sand, and the hot sand also. That is called the green strength, dry strength, and the hot strength property of the molding and coarse sands. So this is the cohesiveness, and there is another property that is called the adhesiveness. So it is the important property of the molding sand. It is the important part of the molding sand. It is defined as the and is defined. Sorry, there is internet connection issues. And it is defined as the sand particles must be capable of adhering to another body. So the cohesiveness, as you know, the cohesiveness is defines the attraction between each grains of the sand. So adhesiveness is defines the bondings of sand to another body, bonding of sand to the another body. Then only the sand should be easily attach itself with the sides of the molding box and give easily lifting and turning of the box when fitted with the sand. So that means we are fitting with the when we are preparing the sand mold. That sand mold will be within a wooden box. Normally the wooden box or there will be the metallic frames are there. Wooden frames or metallic frames are there. If the sand has the low adhesiveness, that means within the frame that mold cannot be fitted, that it can be easily breaks down. So adhesiveness is very much essential that it could also bind or adhering to the another body when the sand mold is prepared. That means it can easily bind to the frame, wooden frame or metallic frame that should be easily attached to that. So these are the properties there we are discussed. So if there is any questions, you can ask.
Sir, center point.
Center point. What is the center point? There is one point is melting point, or there is a center point. Center point
Yes,
means the temperature at which molding material begins to adhere to casting. Molding materials begins to adhere to the or bind to the castings. Okay. Temperature at which, just remember, center point means temperature at which the molding materials begins to adhere or bind to the casting. Okay. So this is not the
yes, sir.
melting. There is no question of the melting of the particles of the permeability that is related to the refractoriness. Refractoriness will be defined by the sintering point. Sintering point means the temperature, the withstanding temperature at which the molding material begins to adhere to the casting. Molding materials means shear. What is that molding material? Molding material is shear the sand.
Molten metal.
No, molding material is the sand. Molding material is adhere to the
Yes,
casting. Casting is the molding material after the mold material after solidification. That is the casting. That should be molding material is the sand here. Here the molding material is the
yes,
sand
sir.
that will adhere to the casting easily. Okay, that should be resistant to the temperature of the castings also. Okay. Withstanding temperature. So
Yes,
these are the properties of the sands here. So if there is no questions from the properties, then we'll move to the constituents of the molding sand. We are already discussed these things, constituents. The main constituents of the sand is the silica, binder, moisture, and additives. The percentage and compositions are also discussed here. The silica or the silica sand, again I am silica. Why silica is needed? For the high refractoriness. Silica is needed in the for the high refractoriness. Also permeability. Also silica enhance the permeability of the molding sand. So silica is essential. Silica sand is essential because it has enough refractoriness, strength, high imparting strength, stability, permeability. Okay, so small, medium, large silica grains are there in generally the sands. So it is very much essential in the molding sands. So silica, after silica, there is the binders. Binder is to binding the sand. Binding the sand that it can easily get the shape of the pattern. So binder is essential. The binder can be better inorganic or organic substances. Binders are the either inorganic or the organic substances. The inorganic group includes clay, sodium silicate, and Portland cements. Portland cements are also used. Clay and sodium silicates are also be used there. Then in foundry shop, the clay act as a binder, which may be kaolinite, ball clay, fire clay, laminate, fuller's earth. These are the generally binders we are using. So in clays, if you see here, the general binders we are using here, clays, if in clays we have fire clay. Fire clay ମାନେ ଇଟା ମ ବୁଝିପାରୁଛ ନା ନାଇଁ? ଇଟା ଗୁଣ୍ଡ ଗୁଡାକ ୟୁଜ
Yes, sir.
କରାଯାଏ
Yes, sir.
ଫାୟାର କ୍ଲେ। ତ କାର୍ଲାଇନ୍ ଏଇଟା ହେଲା କ୍ୟାଲସିୟମ, then Austin Benotine, then secondary mica clays. These are the clays generally used as the binders. Then oils also used. Oils such as oils in oil, that is vegetable oils, marine animal oils, then minerals. Mineral oils are used. Then synthetic resins also used. Synthetic resins or thermosettings are also used. In that is urea formaldehyde and phenol formaldehyde. In cereal binders are made from corn. Cereal binders are also used, that is made from corn. Mokka hamro, made from corn also. These are the list. These are the list of cereal binders that is made from the corn. Then that is also the wood product binders also here. These are the list natural agents. These are the lists here. Then the protein binders. Other binders are also used. That is as I said, that is protein cement, peach, molasses. Then the cement, sodium silicate, hardened by baking, hardened by room temperature. These are the generally binders available to us. The binders are generally clay, oils, synthetic resins or thermosettings, cereal binders made from corn, wood products, wood product binders, protein binders, other binders. In other bind, that is potash cement, peach, molasses cements. These are the other binders we are using here. So next is the moisture. So moisture, as for moisture we are using water normally. For moisture we are using water normally. The amount of moisture content in the molding sand varies generally between 2 to 8%. 2 to 8% of 100% between the as we see there is a particular composition, so moisture will be between 2 to 8% according to the conditions. So this amount is added to the mixture of clay and silica and for the developing bonds. Why we are adding moisture? For the development of the bonds. This amount of water required to fill the pores between the particles of clay without separating them. That we are using, why we are using moistures? Because it will fill the pores of the clay. We are using clay. Clay has the pores. If you are using the water, then the pores of the clay will be easily filled up. The amount of water is held easily by the clay and is mainly responsible for developing the strength in the sand. So it will be increases also the sand strength. Moisture is also increases the sand strength. The effect of clay and water decreases permeability with increasing clay and moisture content. If you are using clay and water, the permeability of the sand decreases. The permeability of the sand decreases with increase in water and clay content. Okay, so that should be in an optimized manner. That should be done in an optimized manner. The green compressive strength first increases. If the addition of the moisture, the green compressive strength first increases with increase in clay content, but after a certain value, it start decreasing. So there is a optimized condition. That's why I'm talking about optimized condition. That means initially the compressive strength increases. If you are increasing again the clay content, then it will be also decreasing the green compressive strength. So for increasing the molding sand characteristics, some other additional material beside basic constituents are added, which can known as additives. So there is some disadvantages of adding more moisture, more water or clay in the preparation of the mold. So to minimize this defect or this deterrence, so there is some additives are added. Some additives are added. So what are the additives? So additives here, see here the additives. Additives are generally corn flour, coal dust, Then sea coal, pitch, wood floor, silica floor. These are the additives are added. Why you are additives are added? If you are adding corn floor, what happens? It belongs to the stress family of carbon. It is used to increase the collapsibility. So there is some certain reasons why we are using this. Coal dust are also used. Why you are using coal dust? To avoid oxidation of foreign metal. Avoid oxidation of foreign metal. Oxidation cannot happen. Okay, so for production of gray iron and malleable cast iron also we are using coal dust, gray iron and malleable cast iron. Then there is the sea coal also. These are the additives. Additives generally used for the particular for some particular purposes. Okay, so this is all about your stop sharing here. And this is all about your properties and your constituents and mole constituents. So in the next class we will see the sand testing. So next class we will read about the sand testings.